In this video, we're going to create the next tab. So in the next tab, you can see here what we're going to do is we have right now, and if you follow along with the instructions, you should have like a list of items. So I'm just making it easy here. You can see here, this is just our list of items. However, these items is just static data. So the meaning that every time you have a new transaction here, you put it in. Imagine that here you will have on the 2nd of February, you have another transaction. You can say here you have what is that, rental fees or something of $100 for rental cleaning, whatever, any kind of things you can put in. So you can keep up, and so this basically all your transactions are going in here. Just makes sense. So what we want to do now is, of course, we have these transactions, but we want the transactions to be calculated based on the month, right? Before, that's what I did before. Before I usually make 12 tabs separately in every one and then just calculate the total sum. But what happened is it's very annoying to consistently check in for different tabs, especially if you have 12 tabs. And what happens if you have a new year, which I will later on explain. Because if you have multiple years, you are not able to do what you want to do because it just cannot scale in such a way. It's just not flexible. So what we need to do is we just make a new tab, and I'll give this tab a new name, and I'll just call it annual. So nothing fancy. And in here, we're going to do some formulas. So I can just expand the size of the things. So what we want to know here basically is very simple. Number one, we want to know the month. Yes. And what do we want to know? The total. Total expense. Total sales. Those are probably the most important ones. So if, just like bookkeeping, you would like to know these kind of numbers. So that's very important. I'll just make this, I'm expanding this a bit. Alright. So we have this now, and I'll just give it some nice color as well. Let's make this slightly more bigger. So if you understand that there is a month, we only have here right now. So I'm going to focus only on the 2018 right now, just 1 year. So we have these here. I'm just going to give this as a different highlight. The yellow is too bright, but a soft green. Alright. So you can see here, this is the thing. So what do we need to do? First of all, we need to indicate here the month. So I'm going to drag this down here till December. So once we have this, we want to figure out, okay, how can we get the total expense per month, extracting it from here? But imagine this as well, that will be later on as well. Imagine that you have not only here, but maybe here as well, you forgot a transaction to record. So you record it here on a different line. It's not, doesn't make any sense basically in order. However, it can happen. I have this very often in my records. So what you need to do is, you need to be able to make something that's so flexible as possible. Alright, so step one is we're going to put in here a formula. We call it the sum if formula. What is a sum if formula? Sum if formula basically calculates something, or it will add it up as a value if something is true. So imagine if we have all bookings for January, in that case the prices for January will be added here. And that's very important to understand. Alright, so we're going to use here the sum if, and then we say here what's the range. So basically, what is the range where we can find the value? So we have this here. This is our range. And I'm going to make it simple. I'm going to just, to make it even simpler, I'm just going to remove this. And I will say not only here on the tab, oh, you can see it's doing some weird things. What we need to do is first we click on the tab, and then we already indicate, alright, that's the tab. Then we say just everything in column A. Yes, everything in column A. If column A expands, it will keep on going with us. That's number one. Comma. So okay, what's the criteria? So let's go back here to annual. And here, what's the criteria? So we can remove this annual information here because this is already the starting point. So what's the criteria? The criteria is this. Next, once we have that, comma, what's the sum range? The sum range is the value that we want to sum up. So that's this one. Just make it easy to select this. Enter. So now you say, hey, wait a minute, what's going on here? Something is wrong, and the reason why something is wrong is simple. We don't have yet the correct date here. So you say, well, but we already selected this and this. If you check at this here, the January 1 or January, this is also January. Yes, that's true. However, right now it's very exact. So if I would put in 1, 2018, it will recognize. So you can see here now it recognized. But of course, well, let's do the same one. Let's copy this one. I'll just remove the February, and then you will see that we have 2. So something is working correctly, however, not everything. No worries. First of all, I will going to explain it later on. First of all, let's drag this here, double click, no need to drag it. Just double click it here. You can see now we have this, and we have to now fine tune this. So in the next video, I will explain how you will fine tune this.